today's most popular game shows. This showcase can be yours when you watch E, the Entertainment News and Information Authority.
Do you know what's on E?
Now you do. Dinner in 5 minutes.
A brand new car. Don't go away. Hi, I'm Michael Kastner, and this is E's 60-minute look at the great American game show and probably the end of my career. As you can probably tell, my ensemble is a tribute to the colorful costume world of Let's Make a Deal, but I don't wear funny hats, so this thing's out of here. Now, you might remember Let's Make a Deal. You know, Monty Hall and an audience full of fashion don'ts, but believe me, the game show phenomenon began long before Curtains 1, 2, and 3. In fact, even before the dawn of the almighty television, it seems Americans have always had a preoccupation with prizes.
We play games in the home. Families play games together. We play games when you're traveling. Play games on social occasions. Adults play games. And games were popular in newspapers before radio.
Mrs. Hubbard, don't faint. Jack Benny is correct, and you win the giant jackpot of prizes!
From radio to television to the big screen, game shows have been a staple in entertainment history. Originally a mainstay of radio programming, they enjoyed a long and successful run on television. Some 400 different game shows have been produced over the past 50 years. And now, their appeal is global.
Casper'in 10. yıl dönümünde.
Türkiye'den King World Production'a.
America's #1 syndicated show, Wheel of Fortune, is franchised in 22 different countries, while Pat and Vanna are seen in 9 others. At home, the game show genre attracts some unpredictable aspiring hosts.
Hello, and welcome to Wheel of Fortune. I'd like to introduce our hostess now, Vanna White.
Over the years, game shows have come in all shapes and sizes.
Will it be Bachelor number 1, Bachelor number 2, or Bachelor number 3? Who's the lucky fellow?
I'm gonna go with Bachelor number 2.
Number 2!
There are panel shows and quiz shows.
Which is a spicy Cajun dish consisting of vegetables and seafood.
There are kids shows.
You can reach through. Now go through. Go on through. Reach for the flag.
Big payoff shows and pairing shows.
He predicted you would say your measurements are 34, 24, 36.
I gave you the benefit of the doubt.
There's that insatiable appetite for showing off a little bit, showing that sense of knowledge that they have. And I think people enjoy doing that. Plus, there's that desire to see people win. They love to watch people win things.
In the past, it used to be a show that was simply entertaining. It showed celebrities having a good time. Today, it's a show that really engages the viewer, that has great play-along, that poses some kind of puzzle or problem that is challenging and intriguing and yet solvable by the public, and engages their interest, draws them into it. Play-along is king right now.
Although game shows don't dominate television today, there was a time when they did.
Game shows used to be much more popular. It used to be times when you would find game shows in every part of the daytime, afternoon, and evening schedule. Primetime game shows were Price is Right was on, Password was on in the evening, shows were on in the afternoon, in the daytime.
I don't think you're going to see any startling new game shows come out. I don't think the networks are going to develop any. I think that you'll see game shows in reruns, mainly.
It's just like the stock market. They're up and they're down. Over the years that I've been on, I've seen them so popular that you couldn't turn on your television set without seeing a game show. Now, we're seeing very few game shows on television, but they'll come back.
So even if there are fewer game shows today, they will always be a part of American pop culture. Precisely why we're taking you behind the scenes on the games people play.
That track background really paying off.
Including America's longest-running game show.
901. 901. That is his bid. The actual retail price of that saxophone is $1,035. Ray has won the saxophone.
We'll show you how Vanna White gets ready on tape day.
Oh, no! What happened to the makeup?
It's being put on now. You didn't know I looked so young, did you? Without makeup, huh? Yeah.
We'll tell you how questions are selected for America's toughest quiz show.
Civil War for 200, please.
Answer. This ship was refloated, rebuilt, and renamed the CSS Virginia. Leslie.
What is the Merrimack?
Correct.
We'll visit 2 game shows that are breaking new ground with an ancient theme.
and it pertains to France. Our letters are still worth $100 each. Our lucky slot is now worth, once again, $500.
And we'll show you the new breed of game shows that allow you to play at home.
New York City, Kansas City, Salt Lake City, and Carson City. In the song from Oklahoma, everything's up to date in what city?
Sounds like a pretty interesting hour, doesn't it? But wait, there's more. In the spirit of the program, I thought we'd try a little game show of our own. That's right. We're going to see just how much you know about today's subject matter. Now, I can't promise fabulous cash prizes, but you will conclude this hour with a deep inner knowledge. That's our consolation prize. What was the first game show on television? Well, you have 2 minutes and 40 seconds to come up with your answer. And when we return, we'll take you backstage for the best prices on television. We'll see you right after this.
They kick, they...
Welcome back to E's 60-minute look at game shows. I'm Michael Kastner and obviously dressed for the occasion. Now, before we go on, let's see how you did with the first question of our own E-quiz. What was the first game show on television? Well, if you responded, It's a Gift, which aired on CBS from January 29th to July 6, 1946, you're absolutely right. And you obviously have way too much time on your hands. Now, It's a Gift may have been the first, but it certainly wasn't the longest-running show. That honor belongs to The Price is Right. After 35 years, this Emmy Award-winning show is still going strong. What's the secret? Well, we got the inside track from the control booth as the audience assembled outside. They come from all over.
Hi, I'm Kajana. I'm from New York. I'm from Colorado Springs.
My name's Henry Weeks. I'm from Monroe, Louisiana.
But they all have the same objective.
I'd like to be on The Price is Right. Today I'm looking forward to his words. Come on down while I am here at The Price is Right. Thank you.
On tape days, 600 people line up outside the CBS studios in Los Angeles to attend the 2 Price is Right shows. Only 18 of the hopeful will become players, 9 per show. Their fate is determined by this man.
Alicia, what do you do?
Well, I'm from Costa Rica, and I've been in the States for 6 months.
You were watching an interview of 300 people before one of the Price is Right tapings. And during that interview, I choose the contestants that I think we're going to use on the show.
Once inside the studio, this is what each audience member waits to hear.
Rod, what is the next name on your list?
Bob, that would be Cynthia Hines. Come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right, Cynthia.
And, Cynthia, what do you bid on that saxophone?
$450.
$450. Kathleen, you are the bidder.
Hi, $700.
$700, Sylvia.
$900.
$900. What do you think, Ray?
$450.
$450. The actual retail price of that saxophone. Hold everything. The first contestant had bid $450. Then the fourth contestant bid $450. And he can't duplicate that bid, of course. We got it straightened out. But on television, you'll never know what happened.
Here we go. Stand by. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kill him.
Ray, you can't bid $450. Cynthia bid $450. What do you bid?
901.
901. That is his bid. The actual retail price of that saxophone is $1,035. Ray has won the saxophone. I think that The Price is Right has endured over the years for several reasons. And I think our success can be attributed to the fact that the show is different every day. We have about 55, 56 games that we rotate. So what you see Monday is not what you see Tuesday, and so on through the week. And I think this variety is very helpful. Ray, you're going to play the newest game on The Price is Right. It's only been played, I believe, 3 times.
Take 3.
Oh, cover up. Here we have a price of $23,590. That is not the price of that car. What do I want you to do? I want you to cover up the wrong numbers with the right numbers.
They had a new game, and I got the first 4 right.
Now, would you please light up all of the numbers that he has right? Oh, my God! Ray! You are a wonderful player.
And I had to get 1 more right.
Ray, since there's only one number that's wrong, you have to get it right.
That was the last number was, I was lucky to pick it.
Now choose the one you believe belongs there. Is it 8, 6, 2, 1, or 4?
Two of the guys. Take 2. Take 1. Take 3.
He believes it's a 6.
He's a winner.
He's a winner.
Cars are probably the most popular prizes that The Price is Right gives away, but there are certainly many others. They are displayed by a group of models, a definite show highlight.
First, some Sly clocks, traditional fluted pileasters, framing the buffalo glass door.
This is my 22nd year. I've been here since the first show, and it's a wonderful job. Where do you come to work where you have all that positive energy coming towards you? It's a fun job.
Models aren't the only Price is Right employees who like their work.
I enjoy the show. If I didn't enjoy the show, I would long since have retired. I set out as a kid in college. I got my first job in a radio station. I had the opportunity to do audience participation shows. I discovered I liked them. So I set out to have a national radio show someday. Of course, television came along, and that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I'm doing, and I'm still doing it. And as long as I enjoy it, why, I'll be here. Ray, you are the top winner in the showcase today. Sylvia, you are the runner-up, and they want to see showcase number 1, please.
You'll visit breathtaking Bali, exotic Borneo, plus the bustling harbor and non-stop shopping of Hong Kong from Royal Cruise Line.
Prices will fool you at times, you know, and on the showcase, well, I bid way too low.
Sylvia, you bid $10,850, and Sylvia, the actual retail price of your showcase is $14,726, a difference of $3,876. Ray, you bid $8,500 on your showcase, and Ray, the actual retail price of your showcase is $21,082, a difference of $12,582. Sylvia wins!
Oh, it's just shaking. I just wanted to be up there and win. I feel pretty excited. We're on our way to Las Vegas to see if our luck keeps.
I want to thank you very much for coming to our show. I want to thank you for being a delightful audience, and we hope you enjoyed your visit to The Price is Right.
Just take it from Bob. Continuing on with our E-quiz. What do Cheech Marin and Luke Perry have in common? I'm frightened. We'll give you the answer when we return. Plus, Alex Trebek shares the shocking truth behind the Jeopardy buzzer. Hi, I'm Michael Kastner. Welcome back to E's 60-minute look at the wonderful and sometimes wacky world of game shows. First, let's check your progress with our own E-quiz. The question was, what do Cheech Marin and Luke Perry have in common? Well, they were both contestants on Jeopardy. As a matter of fact, the celebrity guest list doesn't stop there. Carol Burnett, Rosie O'Donnell have also tried their hands at trivia. Talk about a show with widespread appeal. But what else would you expect from an idea man like, ooh, Merv Griffin, ooh.
This is Jeopardy!
Jeopardy came about through my wife. We were coming back, I remember, from Chicago, actually Ironwood, Michigan. And I was bemoaning the fact we were talking about games on the plane coming back. And I said, gee, wouldn't it be great if a quiz show could come back? And she said, well, why don't you do a show where you admit you give the answers? I said, well, that's what just got everybody into jail. And she said, no, 5,280. And I said, how many feet in a mile? She said, 79 Wistful Vista. And I said, what was Fibber McGee and Molly's address? The radio show.
Studio 9 here at Hollywood Center. Right in the middle of, one of the few studios right in the middle of Hollywood. And this, of course, is the Jeopardy set, which over the years has seen a lot of change. Today, it's, there's the phone. Today, it's state of the art. And when we started, it was all manual. There were people behind that big game board there who physically pulled up the cards, you know. Occasionally you stuck one, very bad.
I Love Lucy for 100. In the pilot, Desi and Lucy played Larry and Lucy Lopez, and this landlord couple was nowhere to be found.
Now it is like a photo wall. It's a series of television sets, And information comes up very quickly, and seldom does it break down.
What are the categories? So let's find out.
When we first started the game, we started off with bells. They actually went bang, like a bellman's bellhop's bell in a hotel. They go bang, and they would hit it. That didn't work because a lot of times you get 3 bangs at one time and you couldn't discover. But this is it has a lockout device. So, but you have to be quick. Not only do you have to know the question to the answer, but you got to be really adept at this buzzer.
Trees, contemporary authors, the Civil War, and finally, opera.
I read the clues over beforehand. I go over all of the games the day we tape the shows. As you know, we tape 5 shows in a day, and that morning I go over all 5 games, and if there are any words that I feel are going to present difficulties for me in terms of pronunciation, I look them up, or I get help with them if there are foreign words, and then I look at them just before I go out to tape that particular show.
If you think Alex is thorough, you'll see the contestant gathering is an even more in-depth process.
I'd like to welcome you here to the Jeopardy auditions. My name is Glenn. I am one of the contestant coordinators of the show. What we're going to be doing is going inside. We will take the test on the actual studio set where we do Jeopardy itself, which is a lot more fun sometimes than watching it at home.
American literature. Ernest Hemingway won his only Pulitzer for this 1952 novella.
Let's see, there were 50 questions. I probably answered about 40 of them and probably got about half of those right.
How was it?
Tough.
Yeah?
A lot tougher here than at home.
On tape days, writer Kathy Easterling doubles as the judge on questionable answers.
Wonderful piece of work. This is created and made by me 9 years ago. Still works, too. When this show is canceled, I want my transformer back.
I'm supposed to buzz him and tell him when there's a problem.
And that's an easy call for Kathy because she has all the questions.
I come in the morning, and what I do is I have to write 3 categories during the day.
My title is editorial associate producer, which means I supervise all the writing and the research of all the material that's on the show.
They manage to write the equivalent of 2.5 Trivial Pursuit games each year. They take dull material that no one would be interested in hearing, and they make it sound fresh.
This is where we do a lot of our research. As you can see, we have a whole bunch of different sets of encyclopedias. This is Jeff Pearson, one of our researchers, and I'm sure he's researching an exciting category right now. Or is it some kind of geography category or something?
Yeah, kind of.
Wait, we're not allowed to tell you what we're doing. That's why he has to be very vague.
It's best that I remain a fan of the show and watch it from afar, and I can see then something I'm getting tired of and can make the changes.
At the very last second, she picked up that electronic pen and tried to write in something else. Let's see. She had written, "Who was Teddy Roosevelt?" Well,
you needed to add the T.
That I see, because you had that in a game the other day when I asked you to be more specific. Well, it's going to cost you, champ, how much? 6,000. That takes you down to 7,000 today.
Some people think we're the Rolls Royce of quiz shows, and I'm not going to argue with them. I like that.
Okay, if Jeopardy's the Rolls Royce, I guess our little game show would fall somewhere in the you-go ballpark, probably, but I ask you, what is wrong with practicality? Well, your next question in the e-quiz, who was the only female MC to win an Emmy for hosting a game show? Well, we've got that answer coming up. Plus, Vanna takes a trip.
You just saw me disappear behind the car.
Welcome back to E's 60-Minute Look at the game show phenomenon. I'm Michael Kastner. First up, let's return to our own little quiz and find out who was the only female MC to win an Emmy for hosting a game show. If you said Betty White for the program, ding, ding, just men, you rack up another point. Now, as you probably know, a good host is essential to any successful program. So those really groovy-looking duds. But when it comes to game shows, you need more than a TV-friendly face.
On your mark, let's start the new Family Feud.
In addition to the game itself, game shows have 3 key elements. The host.
One answer, you're playing for 10 grand.
The prizes.
Kathleen, look! A new Thunderbird!
and the contestants.
You ran a pretty good total on Friday, $39,000.
Finding good contestants is one of the biggest challenges a game show faces. Millions watch them daily, but going from couch contestant to studio contestant is harder than it appears. Usually, there's a test.
Okay, got good news. 16 people passed. That's very good.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we had 7 people that passed. We've got about 42, 43 people here, so that is a great percentage.
I've tried out for the show 7 or 8 times. I finally made it.
Yeah?
Yes, finally passed this test.
Once they pass, contestants advance to the next round where they play a mock version of the game and are interviewed by the producers.
May I have an N, please? Can I buy a vowel, please?
Getting through the mock game doesn't guarantee a spot on the show. Producers and contestant coordinators look for very specific qualities in prospective players.
All right, now let me tell you what we look for in a contestant besides folks that can solve the puzzles. All right, that's important, of course. We need people who can solve puzzles. But we also need people who are going to have fun, they're going to smile, they're going to have a lot of high energy.
And I really think if you go to have fun, and you just go to have a good time, it really helps. If you go thinking you're going to win, and that's the only thing on your mind, it's going to really cause you problems.
We're looking for very fun, outgoing, perky people, lots of personality, big smiles, and likable contestants that you would enjoy watching on TV.
Hosts even have some advice for aspiring contestants.
My only suggestion to people who are auditioning, who are going for an audition, is to speak clearly and loudly. Not necessarily loudly, but don't be meek and timid. Just have fun. Pronounce your letters clearly. That's my suggestion.
You know, if I were to give advice to anybody who's going on a game show to be a player, it is, you know, remember the name of the thing. It's a game show. It's a game. If you hit bankrupt, we don't come and we don't take your house and your car and your kids. I mean, you play, it's house money you're playing with, you know, and that's important to remember.
Having fun is also important for hosts.
Man, I love them. They're so great. I mean, Pat is so friendly. He's like everybody's son-in-law. I guess that's the way they feel about him, you know, that he's a little devilish. You never know if he's going to go beyond what he's doing. But he has great fun with them. And Vanna, of course, is a major American success story.
It's completely changed my life. For the best, of course. Every place I go, I get recognized, which is nice. And people will say, can I have your autograph? Of course you can have my autograph. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. So it's nice. I'm recognized, and people are nice to me. I feel like I live in their living room.
A good game show host, or a good host of anything, when you're dealing with people, is to make those people feel good, feel at home.
You have to be very fast and bright and witty.
You must know the show so well that it's just second nature to you.
Barker certainly is the consummate when it comes to doing the prize shows. But Trebek, in his way with his show, I think is marvelous with Jeopardy.
You're absolutely right. Pick again.
The thrill of victory is also a big part of game shows. And with game shows returning to prime time, prizes have become flashier.
We used to give away a washer-dryer, but not anymore. Now I'll say you can win this, and we open on a complete kitchen. Range, refrigerator, freezer, washer-dryer, dishwasher, and people love them.
Whether it's a range or a refrigerator, The Price is Right is still the granddaddy of prize shows.
The Price is Right is essentially a prize show. The prizes and their value are part of the show content. They're not an accessory to the show, they are the show. And frankly, we were always stressed and stretched to come up with the new and the different. Because if we don't, the contestants know the value of the prizes and the win ratio changes, and we don't want to make it too easy for them to win too often.
However, it's easy for contestants to show their excitement when they do win.
I got a cruise, so me and my husband will probably be going on a honeymoon.
About $77,000. I don't know exactly, and that's cash and prizes, not all cash. I got some Rolex watches.
Today we just won $10,000, and yesterday we won $7,000. So we're 17 grand.
17,000, we're going to play again.
But big winners aren't always the most memorable contestants.
I have had 2 contestants faint. I had one contestant, he'd been in the audience 17 times, and at last his name was called to come on down. And this is a true story. He jumped to his feet and ran the wrong way.
We did have a family on that I got. It was very funny. They got on the show. We always tell you to have energy, enthusiasm. I think this is great. The woman was, all right. She's at the third position. She goes, all right, I'm ready. And her underpants fell off, I swear to God. And they got caught on the buckle of her shoe, and somebody ran under the camera, grabbed the underwear, pushed her on stage, and she said, that's the last time I'm wearing my underpants over my pantyhose.
Contestants aren't the only ones who have had an embarrassing moment on television.
One time during the bonus round, the gentleman won the car, and I was so excited. I was clapping, and I was walking toward him to congratulate him, and you have to walk down a couple of steps from the puzzle board, and I missed the last step. So what made it even worse, you didn't see me fall down. You just saw me disappear behind the car, right on my face. And then, on top of that, I got up, brushed myself off, walked over to the gentleman to congratulate him on winning his new car, and he said on national television, did you have a nice trip? That was really embarrassing. But he won, so that was more important.
And I always thought it was Vanna's viewers who were head over heels. Anyway, your next question in the E-Quiz, what is the title of the Wheel of Fortune theme song? Well, we'll have that answer when we return. Plus, Pat Sajak takes us for a spin behind the wheel. I'm Michael Kastner, and you are watching E! 60-Minute Look at Game Shows. Welcome back. Well, before we continue, let's return to our E-Quiz, shall we? What is the title of the Wheel of Fortune theme song? I know it's a toughie, but that familiar tune is called Changing Keys, and it was written by none other than the show's creator, Merv Griffin. Now, I know Merv might have started the whole thing, but as far as I'm concerned, Vanna White keeps the Wheel of Fortune spinning. And when you take a trip behind the scenes, you'll see the day starts early for America's favorite letter lady.
Hey! Oh no! What happened to the makeup?
It's being put on now. You didn't know I looked so young, did you? Without makeup, huh? Yeah. I show up at noon with no makeup. I go into makeup, and he takes about 30 to 45 minutes to do my makeup. And then I get to move to another chair and go into hair, and then they do my hair. And then I go back in my dressing room, and I try on a few outfits. See ya.
On any given day, I'll come down and I'll take a look at what we have on the set, what colors are being used out there as far as cars or backdrops, and then we'll pick our wardrobe accordingly because we don't want her to clash with what's set already. It's easier for me to change an outfit than it is for the stage crew to come in and redo an entire set.
There's not a lot for me to do, to tell you the truth, before the taping actually starts, other than put on a tie. You know, there's nothing to rehearse. I certainly, if I don't know the logistics of the game by now, I should be put in an institution. I basically show up and put on some clothes. That's my primary occupation, and I do it fairly well.
Vanna and Pat have proven to be very colorful, glamorous objects up there. You still, you know, no matter what you do, you still have to sell a certain amount of sex on television.
People would think that we look for people who just want to jump up and down and scream and, you know, and rip my clothes off. Well, maybe that's not a bad idea. But anyway, we've had a few who kind of want to act like a contestant, and that is really get into it and perform. And that's a little too much. I think the people at home, for them, it gets a little bothersome. But you do want some enthusiasm. You want someone who doesn't get annoyed when they hit a bankrupt or pick a letter that's not up there. After all, it is just a game. So you want someone who's personable, enthusiastic, and looks like they're having a good time. You certainly don't want someone who sits there and mumbles and doesn't take his turn quickly. So it's just a moderate, it's the same kind of person you'd want playing a game in your parlor. You know, you'd want someone who's having a good time, and that's what we look for.
The key to Wheel of Fortune is to solve the puzzles by correctly guessing the letters. And the puzzles can come from a variety of sources.
We get them from a lot of different places. We have a research staff. People on the staff contribute to them. We have puzzles that we get from Pat. We get puzzles from Vanna. And Merv Griffin comes up with a lot of the puzzles.
I do very good on the Wheel of Fortune because I make up a lot of the puzzles. I do the puzzles before the shows are ever taped. And I've always done that since the first day of the show.
We actually physically load the puzzle in. And at the studio, it is my job to make sure it's all loaded correctly, that the letters aren't upside down and backwards, and that's all spelled correctly. And I'm here to answer all the questions about puzzles. Pat needs to know some information. I'm here to answer those questions for him.
I can't even go into the room when they're picking the puzzles for the show. I mean, I know what the puzzle is before each round, but when they go, and they're all in sealed envelopes. Every one of them is in every show. They pick packets that are in sealed envelopes. They pick them at random.
You know, it's funny. People, we forget that we do get new viewers all the time on the show, and but I think one of the attractions of the show is you can watch it for about a nanosecond and figure out pretty much how it works.
Let's get started now. $1,000 is the top dollar value for our first round. We're playing for cash. And here's our first puzzle. The category is actually a new category. It's called the 60s. We'll put an apostrophe in it, and that's a puzzle that relates to that decade, so keep that in mind as you play.
Wheel of Fortune was a game that my sister and I played in the back of the car on long family vacations that we hated. And we would amuse ourselves by playing various word games. And one of them we used to play was Hangman.
Talk it out. People. 10 seconds. Good luck.
Family?
You got it. I knew you.
The Wheel of Fortune's a very glittery show, and we keep it like that, with large amounts of money being given away.
Last year, we gave away $6 million in cash and prizes, and this year we will probably give away even more.
The most fun is making people happy, seeing the look on their face when they win. It's great. And plus, I'm giving away someone else's money. That's always fun. I have one more thing to say.
Okay.
Are you rolling?
I'm rolling, dear.
My favorite letter is E.
Hey, what a coincidence. I'm sort of partial to that letter, too. Well, here's your next question in the E-quiz. What was the first game show to be taped outdoors and in Hawaii? Well, we have the answer for you in 2 minutes and 38 seconds, but we also have a body-bashing brouhaha when we come back.
There are no rules when it comes to gladiators.
Welcome back to E's 60-minute look at game shows. I'm Michael Kastner, dressed to kill, I know. Before we move on, let's return to our E-quiz. What was the first game show to be taped outdoors and in Hawaii? Well, the first island-based quiz program was called, appropriately enough, Diamond Head, and it was hosted by Bob Eubanks. Now, you might call a tropical game show a true first, but if you take a look around the dial, you'll find there are still a few programs that travel the cutting edge.
It's the exciting, new, Prize Maximus Letter Perfect Game Show. Caesar's Challenge!
These are the American Gladiators!
By the looks and sounds of these game shows, the Romans still rule. But take a closer look, and it's just Caesar challenging contestants with word puzzles and gladiators gaming it up with contenders. Physical or not, they all play for the same reason.
You win anything from small prizes to large prizes up to a car. A lot of money.
On American Gladiators, contestants who pass a vigorous audition compete with the men and women of strength in games like The Wall and Atmosphere.
I dedicated 3 months into trying out for this, doing nothing but working out, eating right, which I usually don't do.
When I first saw the show, God, they finally made something, you know, for me that I could be on, something I'd really like to do.
We really don't have too much problems finding contenders these days. In fact, we had about 10,000 people come to our tryouts around the country.
Yep.
This is a game where you can bleed, you can break, you can get torn up.
Little buys and try. We do 26 episodes in about 3.5 weeks. The gladiators themselves, the only thing that I recommend that you do, they're great people. To them, you're just another group of faces. They've seen about 120 contenders already. but you can get their attention in a hurry two ways. If you're a great athlete and make a great move, they'll be the first people to come over and shake your hand and pat you on the back. But if you talk trash to them and start getting in their face and be a little cocky, they have what they call attitude adjusters. And they will make sure that you do not do well.
There are no rules when it comes to the gladiators.
They look very tame, look cordial, look like they'll come up and say hello before they kill you.
Ready, baby. Showtime. Gladiator strategy right before the event. Get ready, buddy. Well, we got 3 balls against 2 balls here, which is usually not like that. So what Hawk and myself are going to do is we're going to take a little zone here, and I'm going to take pod number 4, number 1, and Hawk's going to take chew number 3. Try it, and we'll see how it works. Watch.
I don't know how much longer it's going to last, whether it's a cult or a fad or whatever. I don't think it's reached its zenith yet, but there's appeals on a lot of different levels. I think young kids like it because they root for the gladiators, and they look at the gladiators as sort of comic book superheroes come to life. And I think the adult fans of the show watch it because they like the contenders. They see themselves and the people who are competing.
What other arena do you see men and women competing on the same events at the same time and women getting the same airtime?
Well, maybe not suspended in air or climbing a wall, but the sexes do square off on Caesar's Challenge, where Roman wardrobe also reigns. On this game show, contestants unscramble word puzzles.
It's a very easy show. You answer some questions, simple questions. You get to move a letter in a word. If you guess the word, you get a chance to win a car. Then at the end of the show, you get another word. If you guess that word, you drive away in a car. Simple.
I need to tell you, this is real important. When you go to select a letter, okay, be real specific about the letter. Really enunciate. E, D, T, whatever the letter you want. When you go to guess the word, similarly, I need you to be real specific. If you think it's a plural, say it as a plural. If you think it's singular, say it as singular. Okay? Any questions?
The topic is Famous Johns. Stagecoach, True Grit, or The Alamo? Yes, Gordon?
John Wayne.
Yeah. Oh, be careful. Now, Gordon is a police officer. You must respect that. Wrong. Which film starred John Wayne as Rooster Cogburn? Yes, baby.
True Grit?
True Grit is correct.
Unlike the American Gladiators contenders, Caesar's challengers have a different way of auditioning.
Saw an advertisement in the newspaper, so we gave a call to the information line and decided to come down.
They came by my fire station and recruited me for it, and I thought, hey, sounds like fun, so why not?
They actually gave us a test to see if we knew the answers and could come up with the words and unscramble words.
Perfect contestant is someone who knows a lot about just general knowledge, trivia, and someone who is upbeat and loves to have a great time and is somewhat animated.
The deeply.
The deeply.
14,300 in 2 days. I don't usually make that much in 2 days.
You hear what she won? She won that, the bedroom. Your lady won everything.
Prizes come through various manufacturers and people that are promoting prizes on the show. Many we buy, and Mike opens up the bank. He is the bank, the production
Sometimes,
company. We go out and buy them.
a truck, accidentally drops stuff off the back. We pick it up off the street, and, a lot of stuff off the back of the truck.
I just turned letters. It's mailman and white. Basically, I kept the skirts.
Please, Dan, do it. He said he was a Vanna White? Vanna White is much better looking than Dan. Much better looking than Dan. And if he ever thinks that he's Vanna White, the only thing he have in common is they both wear skirts. Here's my sidekick. This is Dan Doherty. Dan,
hi, bud.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
You know what? I was just, you drive, right? You have a driver's license?
Well, actually, I have a Cheerios license.
You do? Where do you keep it? Never mind. The neat thing about being a game show host, you have the answers in your hand. Doug is my brains. See? I read whatever he puts up there, even if he puts the wrong side on there from another show. We have 10 seconds. Audience, may we ask for absolute silence?
Elegance. Elegance.
Is it? It is elegance. Win the
Yay! Thank you!
Oh, isn't that exciting? I hope I get the Amana radar range. I've always wanted one. Oh, excuse me. Your final question in our e-quiz. What was the only game show to be hosted by a world-renowned stripper? We'll answer that burning question when we come back. Plus, we'll take a first-hand look at the face of the future.
Your choices are Garfield, Heathcliff, The Far Side, Pogo.
I'm Michael Kastner, and this is a 60-minute look at the wild world of game shows and bad suits. Wrapping things up with our e-quiz, what was the only game show to be hosted by a world-renowned stripper? Well, that would be Think Fast. No, I mean, it's called Think Fast, a topic-themed program circa 1950, hosted by none other than Gypsy Rose Lee. Now, as you probably noticed in the last hour, there's no limit to what game shows will do. From Price is Right to American Gladiators, we've certainly seen it all. Or have we?
Trivial Pursuit, the interactive game.
Television has always kept up with the changing times, and now it seems like game shows are leading the way into a new frontier.
I think game shows are on the cutting edge of the interactive technology. I think that we're part of the first to do this. We are among the first, if not the first, to do the kind of show we're doing, real-time interactive telephone game show.
Interactive Trivial Pursuit is the Family Channel's companion piece to their popular Trivial Pursuit, the classic game. The interactive part of the show allows contestants to play at home, in addition to the studio contestants.
When a person dials in on the phone and plays Interactive Trivial Pursuit, we tell them all the rules, and then they see the exact questions and answers that we're playing here on this show. Let's begin.
Your choices are Garfield, Heathcliff, The Far Side, Pogo. What off-the-wall comic strip is drawn by animal lover Gary Larson? The answer, The Far Side.
They hear on the telephone what we're doing, and they see on television the choices of answers, so that they do the same thing that our players here in the studio are doing. All of today's Play Break winners will be competing later on in the day for our Great Vacation Getaway. That's what the interaction is. It's real-time interaction, which has never been done before on television.
Many experts agree that including the home audiences is the wave of the future.
I think that the future of game shows is dependent upon interactive television.
Interactive is the #1 factor in television today.
Someday, I'm sure the home audience will be able to play, and we'll know who's watching at what moment, and we'll be able to ring them on the phone and say, "You're on the Wheel of Fortune."
Audiences may not be getting a call from Pat Sajak yet, but game shows are definitely hoping to reach out and touch someone.
And don't just watch it, play it.
Thanks for joining us for a 60-minute look at the American game show phenomenon. Now, I gotta get out of these let's make a deal duds and get them back to the shop wherever they came from. But you keep it tuned right here to E, the Entertainment News and Information Authority. Coming up next, if you missed any of the big entertainment news stories of the past week, then you're out of luck. No, actually, we have E! News Week in Review coming up. Oh, stop crying.